So this webinar is being recorded, so if anybody wants the link afterwards, you can get hold of that from Lisa at Perfect Recruitment. My name's Paul Lim. I'm the Managing Director of Lancashire Business Growth and a Senior Partner at ActionCOACH here in Bolton. We work with a number of different sectors, and also we work with Lisa at Perfect Recruitment, and Lisa kindly asked us to help out on this webinar this afternoon. We're also joined by Dr. Andy Jenkins, who is Principal Lecturer at the University of Huddersfield and international speaker and published author as well. Have I got all that in the right order, Andy?
That's absolutely fine. Thank you, Paul.
So welcome to Andy. Andy's going to be talking to us a little later on about all things Brexit, HR, recruitment and working with older staff in hospitality, and probably a few other things that I don't know about already. We'll see how it goes. And then Lisa's got some really special offers to give a helping hand to the hospitality sector here in the UK. Lisa's going to finish off with a few words of wisdom as well, aren't you, Lisa?
Certainly am.
Of course she is. So let's get started. My name, as I said, is Paul Lim. I'm the Managing Director at Lancashire Business Growth, and I'm a business coach with ActionCOACH here in the UK. And we work with a number of different sectors, and we help business owners to get better at the business of business. So we're not looking to help you make you a better hospitality professional. We're looking to help you become a better business owner. And this part of the presentation, the first few minutes of this presentation, is all about marketing for you and for your establishment during and after lockdown. The light's firmly on at the end of the tunnel now. And we're going to be talking to you about some of the things that you can do from a marketing perspective with your business to get you ready to move forward. So it's about getting some clarity, some focus, some action points for you, which are ultimately going to lead to some results. Now, we've got two areas to look at, really. And we don't want to focus on the BC, which is before coronavirus, but rather the AC, the after coronavirus. Also happens to stand for ActionCOACH, but that's beside the point. It's about what you're going to do to move forwards with your business. You've got to be proactive, because businesses are like trees. If you're not growing, you're dying, and if you're not changing, then you're not growing. So we need to look at how we can help you to change, step up to the mark, and move forwards. One of the questions that I'm often asked is, well, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do with my business? And the question I will often ask in return is this: if your house blew down in a storm, or if you had if there was a really bad storm, your house got completely wrecked, would you want to build your house in exactly the same way over again? Or would you want to build it differently? Would you want to build the home of your dreams? But exactly the same thing applies in business. We've had our own storm with the coronavirus, the pandemic and lockdown, but we've got the opportunity to really look at a business right now and look at how we can build it even better than before. So do you want your business to be exactly the same as it was before, or do you want it to be even better? Think about the steps that you can take to make that happen. You've got two choices. You can either sit and wait, or you can be proactive, looking to move forward. And there's 5 areas that you need to look at. You've got to have a strong vision. You've got to have a strong vision of what you want your business to look like, what you want your business to give you as a business owner. You've got to have the skills to be able to do that as a business owner. Obviously, your technical skills in hospitality, but your skills as a business owner as well. You've got to have a big enough why. What's your incentive? Why are you doing this? What do you want your business to give you? What do you want? What's success going to look like for you? You've got to have the right resources to be able to do this. And ultimately, you've got to have an action plan. And if you've got all those things, it can lead to change and to success. But if one of those things is missing, then it's going to cause some challenges for you. So if you don't have a strong enough vision, that's just going to lead to confusion. You've got the skills, you've got everything else that you need, but you don't know where you're going, you don't know what direction it is, what your ultimate goal is for the business. If you don't have the skills, but you've got that vision, it's going to lead to anxiety, it's going to lead to stress, because you need to develop those skills. What skills do you need to look at in order to be the best version of yourself that you can be? If you don't have a strong enough why, if you don't know what you're looking for to get out of the business, if you don't know what the ultimate goal is, if you don't know what it's going to look like when it's finished as a business, then it's going to lead to more gradual change because you haven't got that strong purpose pushing you forward, pulling you forward all the time. If you haven't got the right resources, it's just going to lead to frustration. And Lisa will be able to talk to you about some of the resources you need from a people perspective later on. And then, look, if you don't have a plan, what's going to happen? You're just going to get lots of false starts. So think about all those things, write those 5 areas down: vision, skills, incentive, resource, and action plan, and mark yourself out of 10 where you are in each of those areas right now. And whichever you score lowest on, focus on that one. Spend some time in that one area and focus a little bit more on that. Ultimately, the biggest barrier to success for most people, none of what we do is rocket science. It's all out there for everybody. It's not knowing what to do. It's not doing what you know needs doing. So think about what do you know? What's your mindset telling you right now? What do you know that you're not doing that you should be doing right now? Write that down as well. Write down the one biggest thing that you're procrastinating over that you know you should be doing but you're not doing. So we're going to cover 3 areas. We're going to cover marketing, some general principles of marketing, of success, marketing results, and what your actions are going to be moving forwards. So marketing is about helping you stand out. It's about communication and education, but it's about helping you stand out in the marketplace, because there's lots of other hospitality businesses out there, and your marketing needs to help you stand out in some way. So think about your message first of all. The guy on this picture is a guy called Andy Bounds, one of the best sales trainers in the UK, if not the world. And one of the things that he constantly talks about is afters. What are the afters that people are looking for? Be clear on what your afters for. So be clear about what people get. Be clear about what outcomes they're going to get from coming to stay with you or eat with you or whatever it happens to be in your business. Make sure that you communicate clearly with confidence, that in some ways you're educating them about what they're going to get from being with you. And your marketing should become an afters causing thing. It should be based all around not what they're going to get, well, not what you're selling, but what they're going to get as a result of it. When people buy a drill, they're not buying a drill because they want a drill. They're buying a drill for the hole it's going to make in the wall, but ultimately they're buying it for the picture that they're going to hang on the hook that's been put in the hole in the wall. So think about your afters. What are your afters? Mostly marketing with compassion. We're not marketing to sell and to ask for people to come and see us. We're marketing with compassion. We should be helping and giving to people. So what is it that people are most concerned about right now when they're thinking of coming to visit a hospitality establishment once the lockdown eases and we're able to do that? So what are the things that are most important to them? Might not be what you'd have considered was most important prior to lockdown. So think about the things that you can impact. Think about the things that you can educate them about in terms of what you're doing to make sure that they're safe, make sure that they have an enjoyable time while they're in a safe environment. Make sure that you empathize with them, that you engage with them. But always your marketing should be adding value. Think about your customer journey as well. Number one, how are they going to find you? How is your website ranking on Google? How are your socials? How are you looking at socials? How are you looking at your hard copy advertising at the moment? How do people find your establishment? Then, how easy is it for them to communicate with you? How easy is it for them to see what it is that you offer? How easy is it for them to actually make a booking? How easy is it for them to find you physically and come and find you afterwards? All of these questions are really important when you're looking at the customer journey from the moment they go, I'd like to go somewhere like you. And they then got to find out where you are, who you are, what you do, how to find you, how to communicate with you. All those things are really important. Think about scoring yourself out of 10 in each of those areas. And then whatever the lowest score is, work on it. And keep asking yourself, and then what, and then what? Your customer journey, you're looking to create raving fans out of every single one of your customers. And one of the things you can do that is to make the journey for them even before they get to you as easy as it possibly can be. So when you're looking at your actual marketing and your website, these are just, look, some of these are just very, very simple things, but we reiterating because it may be simple to you and I, but to some others it might not be. So review your website regularly. Is your website giving people the impression that you want to give them? Does it appeal to your target market? Do you know exactly who your target market is? It's really important that you understand who your particular customer avatars are. Are you trying to attract a certain geographic, a certain demographic, a certain age blend into your hospitality establishment? Who are your target market and how are you communicating with them? Can visitors find their way around your website? Okay. Does it capture their interest? Are you really capturing their interest straight away as soon as they come on board? Lots of different things for you to bear in mind at this point. And also, can you capture their information? Do you have a sign up? Do you have a pop-up box that allows them to sign up for special offers so they come onto your database? Are you capturing their details at the earliest possible stage so you can then remarket to them in other ways? Do you have Facebook pixels on your website so you can retarget them through Facebook advertising? So all sorts of different things to look at for your website. I'm not going to run through each and every one of these, but bear in mind there's two areas here. It's a shop window to attract people's attention, and it's also a showroom for you to show them what it is that you do and what you have. And it's a way of you capturing their details so you can then remarket to them afterwards. So think about how you get your website acting as a shop window and also as a showroom for them. When you're looking at online marketing, we use a simple little phrase, EIEIO. If anybody can't remember that, then we'll have to think of a different phrase, but I think it's perfectly rememberable for most people. Make sure that whatever your message is, number one, it entertains people. Make sure that it inspires people, that it educates people, that it informs, and it opens a dialogue. EIEIO, it's as simple as that. Look, we see lots of social media content around nowadays, and lots of it we flick straight past. So how can you make your content, both on your website and on socials and in hard copy, wherever it happens to be, as interesting and as informative as it possibly can be, and entertaining? Blogs and video vlogs, if you will, and video content in general is becoming much more important. Having a website that's dynamic, putting dynamic content on there, putting messages that people want to listen to, relevant and professional messages, of course. Make sure your personality comes across, whether it's a blog or a video vlog. Stories sell. You know, it's really, really important, but videos are a standout way of doing that now. So if you're not doing videos for your hospitality establishment right now, get your phone, pick it up, do a 30-second to a 1-minute video, just point the phone at you and talk about the first thing that you want to talk about. Just, it's so easy to do videos nowadays. You don't have to make them perfect. You don't have to make them crisp and professional. People like you to be yourself. So you could do videos on all sorts of different things. Think about what people would be interested in looking at, about how you're getting prepared for reopening, about the safety measures you're taking, about what happens in your kitchens, about what happens when people arrive. All sorts of different things that you can do video vlogs about, and you can do social media posts about using video. Keep them short, keep them precise, put captions on them at the bottom, because a lot of people watch videos but don't listen to the sound. So make sure that you're covering really great educational, entertaining points that people are going to want to talk about, people who are going to want to listen to. All sorts of other things you can do with video as well. Look, if you're doing Facebook stuff, then think about some paid advertising. You don't have to spend a fortune. If you're doing posts that are going to be really, really relevant and educational, entertaining, then boost them, reach a wider audience within your target market, within the people who normally look at your stuff as well. You can create some Facebook ads. If you do it, if you've got a pixel on your website, you can retarget people into your website. If you're doing videos on your company page, then you can retarget people who've watched your videos. There's all sorts of different things you can do around Facebook ads and the audiences that you want to create through Facebook ads. But you need to be careful that you test and measure each area, and you don't spend a lot of money before you're ready to do that. So you can test and measure, use a little bit of money, just target the people that you really want to talk to. Get some expert help on Facebook advertising, because it's easy to spend a lot of money and not get great results. It's important that you get some expert help there. So boosting is about assigning a budget to a pre-existing post. Adverts, you can create a post to reach a wider audience, and you can decide what that audience is going to be. It's all about creating trust. So there's a simple equation we use to create trust. Credibility times reliability times likability divided by self-interest. The more you give, the more you get. So how can you build credibility with what you do? So maybe recommendations from other people, having a professional website, having great pictures, having great socials. Reliability is about doing what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it. Reliability also comes from listening to recommendations from other people. Likability comes from the things that you put out on socials. If it's somebody who's not seen you before, it's about what you put out on socials. And all that's divided by self-interest. So if you're just trying to sell to somebody, if it's obvious that it's all in your interest, then that will reduce the trust that they have in you. So whether they're an existing or ex-customer of yours, or whether they're somebody who's still to buy from you, if you can build up their trust through credibility, reliability, and likability, then you stand a much better chance of getting them as a customer. Sales decisions are based on two things. They're based on logic and emotion, but the majority of that is around emotion. People want to buy from you because they love what you do, they love where you are, they love the advertising you're putting out, possibly the food that you're showing people through social, whatever it happens to be. So the majority of those decisions are based on emotion and not on logic, as are most buying decisions. So are you really appealing to the heart of you? We're appealing to their afters. Test and measure is one important area in marketing. You've got to know your numbers. So what works and what doesn't. So if you're doing some paid for socials, check your numbers. Make sure you're getting a return on your investment. If you're investing in other types of marketing, then check the numbers that you're getting. How much you're spending, how much time you're putting into it, how many leads are you getting from that particular area. It's easy to find out when somebody books. Just say to them, how did you first hear about us? And then for each kind of strategy they come from, then make sure you understand where each person's coming from, so you can then track how successful that strategy has been. You can't manage what you don't measure. It's an old adage, but the reason it's lasted the test of time is because it's absolutely true. If you want to make a change, if you want to get better in any one particular area, then make sure you've got some numbers that you can measure it by. And the law of attraction says what you focus on improves. You get what you focus on. So make sure you're focusing on the right areas to make some improvements. And you know, all of these things are going to help your marketing, your lead generation, your business grow, because marketing is maths. That's all it is. Marketing is maths. So if you get the numbers right, and marketing is about getting a return on your investment, then if you do the right investments in the right area, get your marketing strategies right, then you're going to get a return on that. Think about things like acquisition costs. How much does it cost you to buy a lead, or buy somebody who's interested in coming to do business, or buying or coming to see you for a meal, or whatever it happens to be for your business? And think about your customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost you to buy that particular customer? And how much you're willing to invest in buying a customer. So you can do this by strategy, by lead. You can look at it by your marketing goals. There's lots of different ways of looking at this. But make sure that you're recording some basic numbers so you can record how successful you're being with marketing. The key to commitment is involvement. So whether it's just you, whether you've got a full team working with you as well, take some time to review what you're doing, to let people know about your plans so they can all get involved as well. Build a quarterly plan. So you've got a marketing plan for the next quarter, and you should be doing that now for this next quarter coming up. It's the most important quarter you're ever going to have. Review it monthly to make sure you're staying on track. Give yourself a weekly review, a reflection of the week just gone and a reflection of the week to come. So whatever you're doing, make sure it's working. If not, change it. And then just have a few minutes every single day, just looking at those numbers, making sure you're doing the right things. So what are you doing right now? Number one is your existing client base. You should all have a database of your existing and past customers. It's like gold dust right now. So number one is, how do you get those people back to you? You should be marketing consistently to them with compassion right now. It could be an email marketing campaign. It could be a hard copy marketing campaign if you've got their addresses to market to them. Talk about how safe they're going to be when they're coming back to visit you. Have a special offer to reward your existing clients and those VIP clients that you want to attract back again and again and again. It's much easier, 7 times less expensive to get an existing client to buy again from you than it is to go out and buy a new client. So what do you do with your existing customer database to make sure that you get as many of them coming back through the door as quickly as possible? So reward them for coming back. Make sure they know how safe it's going to be, that you're going to welcome all your regulars back, those VIPs. Make them feel like they're a VIP so they become a real advocate and a raving fan of your business and talk to everybody else about it. What are you doing from your own marketing out wider scale on social media, in local media? Are you having a reopening campaign? We're reopening. Are you going to have a ribbon cutting for your reopening? Are you, all these kind of things you can do with local media. I can tell you, I can guarantee you that the local media are looking out for loads of good, great, good news stories. So what can you do to get those good news stories out there? And what are you doing with your own team? Lisa and Andy are going to talk about people in a little while, but what are you doing with your own team? Do you need to recruit right now? And if you've got an existing team, what are they doing with their socials? How are you thinking about your own team in terms of how safe they are? Are you thinking about what they could do in extension to that, to the marketing that you're doing? Lots of different things that you could be doing right now for your own team. We could talk forever about marketing, and if Andy and Lisa weren't here, I probably would. But we've got 2 fantastic speakers still to come. The most important thing is that you get on and you actually take action and do something. Be above the line. Make sure that you're taking responsibility and accountability for what's going to happen over the next few months. It's all in your hands. Never wish life were easy, just wish that you were better. So if you want your business to be better, what do you need to do better as a business owner? So that's me. Thank you. Make good things happen. If you need any help, if you want to talk about marketing, if you want a complimentary coaching session, I'll give all of you who are based in the UK, who are business owners in the hospitality industry, 30-minute coaching session just to follow up on any discussions and action points we've got from this. I can take a breath now. Lisa. Lisa Brady is the Managing Director and founder of Perfect Recruitment and Perfect Construction, is here now. And Lisa's going to have a chat to us about some of the things that Perfect Recruitment are doing to give a helping hand to the hospitality sector. And that's one of her helping hands right there.
Yep. So
Lisa, over to you.
All right, I'll just share my screen with you. I've just got a few slides to run through with people. She says. Okay. So I just wanted to start with, at the moment, is, let's start from the beginning, it would help. This is the team of Perfect Recruitment. So these are the guys behind the scenes doing the work on a daily basis. So we're all still in situ after the fun year we've had. So we're all still here. We've worked tirelessly behind the scenes to help our clients, connect people. This is the second webinar we've ran with the help of Paul. So thank you very much for that, Paul, as well. And it's keeping people informed, and we hope we've spread a bit of cheer along the way. That has been really, really key for us, and to stay alive and stay in front of all our clients. But what I wanted to talk to you today about is what I've noticed over the last few weeks is every social media post is the hospitality industry recruiting staff. Every single post is, and it may be what I follow, but everybody seems to have got rid of the whole teams, especially the smaller companies, and everybody is looking for staff now for reopening. So how are you standing out from the crowd? So how do you stand out from the restaurant, the bar, the hotel next door? What can you do different to source staff and keep staff that's different to next door? because you're going to have to stand out from the crowd to attract these people to apply for your jobs. Because I'm pretty sure that most people are going to have to rebuild most of the teams. So our pool has got really, really smaller. I know my pool has got smaller because we've lost a lot of chefs to Amazon, Morrison's, factory workers. Not many people wanted to be in the hospitality industry as it was, and this has hit us massively hard. And people have gone on to work with different sectors, and all I'm hearing is, yeah, I'm enjoying this. It's great hours, it's great pay, it's guaranteed hours. I'm not having to work nights. So our pool was already small, so it's just gone and got a lot smaller. So it's just going to make our recruitment drive and our recruitment process is an awful lot harder. So one thing I always say when we're taking a permanent vacancy with Perfect Recruitment, we all say, what do you do different, Mr. Client? And when we ask that question, it is, you know, what do you offer to your staff that makes you stand out? And you need to have, you know, 2, 3, even 1, because if everybody's saying the same thing, oh, well, I offer holiday pay. Yeah, don't we all? Yeah, pensions. Yeah, okay, pensions. What else do you offer? And sometimes if you don't sit down and think what you offer, you don't actually realize that you have that one little nugget that is different to the next door. Do you have free parking if you're in Manchester? Those little things that you take for granted, other businesses won't take for granted. So we've just put together just a few little bits and pieces of things that we come across that are, could say they're not very expensive. Some are free. Some may cost a little bit of money, but it's always having something extra to offer the staff to attract people to come and work for you. So things like birthday holidays, we've implemented this in the last 2 years at Perfect Recruitment. Life insurance, you know, it doesn't have to be from the very, very beginning of somebody's employment. Offer it, you know, after 1, 2, 3. We do it after 5 years. Once somebody's been with the company 5 years, they get life insurance. Friends and family scheme. Can you offer friends and family a discount, or can you offer friends and family meals? Just something that makes you stand out. Further qualifications is a big one right now, and especially with apprenticeships, etc. It's adding value to somebody's career. A lot that came into play before lockdown was, especially for chefs, a 4-day week, and it's rotating that people are not working 24/7 in the hospitality industry, which has always been the bugbear for most people leaving the industry, is because they're working 7 days a week and they're working 12-hour shifts. And that's why we've lost so many people from our industry. So people are looking at it differently now and thinking, well, what can I do to keep my team in place in that kitchen? Because that's where it's costing you a lot of money. Because if you're constantly having to re-recruit a chef, and they can literally walk out your door and walk in next door and have a job. So there's no loyalty to them. So you need to create that loyalty. So a 4-day week, I don't know how you would facilitate that into your business, but if there's something that you can do to keep those staff loyal, it's beneficial to start looking now. Health insurance, a progression roadmap, that when they start, that you actually roadmap how they're going to progress their career. Long service holidays and benefits, staff of the month awards, death in service. These are things that are important to people behind the scenes. And a big one that a lot of hotels offer staff uniform laundered, but they don't publicise it. But you probably do it, but next door doesn't. So say what you do and put it on your ads when you're trying to attract staff. If you've got a gym within the hotel, can you offer gym membership, or can you reduce the gym membership for a member of your staff? There's a lot of schemes out there now for the environment, bike to work, and you can actually do that via your council. So it's worth looking into those. And again, it's just an added benefit. Team building days. Again, team building afternoons, you can just all get together and have a bit of a chat and throw some bits and pieces out there, or go bowling. There's loads of ideas you can do, but it doesn't have to cost a lot, because at the moment, funds are going to be key moving further forward. So what I'd just like to do is just a quick one, just to see if there's anybody else out there that do you do something different? So if you can just take your phones and go to www.menti.com and use this code. I'm just going to bring Menti up now, and it'll ask you the quick question, she says. If I can get to it. So if you can just log on to Menti, there's the code at the top. Well, as soon as you log into menti.com, it'll give you a little code at the top, and it's 85945008. What do you different? What's your different? What's your unique selling point when you're trying to attract staff? So if you could just type that in for me, and then, yeah, fab. Staff discounts for meals. You're providing food anyway. It's not really going to cost an awful lot of money. Anybody else got anything? Meals on duty. You know, there's an awful lot of pubs, bars and restaurants that don't offer meals on duty. Staff accommodation, perfect. Do you charge for your staff accommodation? If it's a reduced cost, put it in your ads and make sure that people know that it's a reduced cost, and sell your staff accommodation. Uniform, again, is a fantastic, flexible hours around family. Any more? Again, free parking. Not all places have free parking. I know that's a big bugbear at my office. We only have 3 spots. We have free parking if there's space available, but you know, offices down the road may have loads of free parking. So it's a selling point for bigger places with bigger car parks. Any more? Any more for any more? Laundered uniform. Nobody thinks that that's a perk, and it actually is. It really is. And as I say again, discounts for friends and family is a huge one. If you can offer something different to your staff that's different to the pub next door, you're going to attract and you're going to retain those staff further. So that's just a little bit about what we do when we're writing ads. We usually put the key benefits in for each position. And I'm going to pass over to Andy now. I'm going to come back to you a little while with a little incentive thing that we've put together regarding some clients that we've worked together with to be able to offer you some incentives yourself. So I will stop sharing my screen and introduce Andy Jenkins.
Right, okay, thanks very much, Paul and Lisa. It's always difficult going last, especially when you have 2 inspirational speakers like you've just had. So I'll do my best anyway. I'll share my screen with you. Okay, can you just confirm in chat if you're able to see my screen, please?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can see that, Andy. You just need to stick it on slide share on presentation mode.
It's on presentation mode.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, I'll just introduce myself briefly. My name is Dr. Andrew Jenkins, or commonly called Andy, and I'm from the University of Huddersfield, but I'm here more, I suppose, in an expert and private capacity. So the views that I present are my own views, not necessarily the views of the university. I've been in hospitality an awful long time, and my experience is not just in the UK, it's in Holland many years, India, China, Indonesia, Greece, Namibia, so very international. And my area of expertise really is human resource management. Not that I want to sell you my book, but it is used by many HR professionals, not just in the UK, but in other countries as well. So that's the front cover. What I'm going to do today is talk about 5 key employment issues. Now, why these 5? Well, I think they're 5 very important ones, and what I've got to say fits in very well with what Paul and Lisa have said. I mean, perhaps particularly Lisa in the I'm not a marketing person, you know, I'm much more of a employment HR person. So it fits in very well with what she said. I've selected these 5 issues because I think they're hot issues, hot topics in terms of work and employment in the hospitality industry. I do also write about things like managing diversity, equal opportunities, inclusion. I'm not going to discuss those things today. They are obviously extremely important. So the 5 key things I'm going to discuss today, and the other thing is my PowerPoint is rather less colourful than the 2 last presenters, so it's pretty much black on white with a few photographs. I'm going to discuss the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd rather not be discussing it, to be honest. I've had enough of it. I'm sure you have as well. But it's had a huge impact on our industry. So, you know, I don't need really to discuss what's happened, but focus more on the future. I also want to discuss Brexit because it's going to have a huge impact on recruitment. Now, Brexit as well, I'd rather not be discussing, to be honest. I'll keep my views to myself, but, you know, it's going to have a big, mostly negative impact on recruitment in the hospitality industry. One key area of research for me is older workers. That links into demographic changes in most societies. So whether it's the UK, the US, France, Japan, just about any country you think of, we have population aging. And I want to discuss about where we recruit people from, because traditionally it's been school and college leavers, and a lot of my work is on older workers. I've also written a lot about talent management, and there are a lot of discussion about what it exactly is, but I'll talk about that as one of the key issues. And finally, and it feeds back into what Lisa said about flexible working and work-life balance. I didn't know what you were going to talk about exactly, Lisa, but anyway, it fits in very well with that. So the pandemic, awful, of course, for all of us, and I feel particularly sad for those who've been affected in terms of bereavement and ended up in hospital. It's been a dreadful time. It's like science fiction, really. It's not something I ever imagined would happen. But here we are. We're now, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There is a roadmap for opening. But whilst I'm very optimistic, you know, there may be dark clouds on the horizon. So, you know, we need some contingency planning in case we open up and then we end up closing down again. I know that's not something the British government wants, but it could well happen. So, you know, lots of businesses have closed. Lots of businesses have had to adapt pretty quickly, like, you know, doing, you know, collection and you know, deliveries, for example. So, you know, some businesses are still able to function, but with difficulties, certainly. So huge impact on hotels, which are closed at the moment. In this country anyway, restaurants you can't sit in at the moment, bars closed, so huge impact. And one of the biggest impacts, of course, is on employment in the hospitality industry. And looking for going forward, I think hospitality firms in general are going to struggle to attract a you know, effective workforce, skilled, talented, knowledgeable people. The other thing is, I think the recovery will take longer than in other industries. So, you know, some industries have continued more or less as they were, or even, you know, sales have increased. The likes of Amazon or, you know, Tesco have done well out of the pandemic, but not the hospitality industry. So I think hospitality businesses need to take care of their employees during lockdown, keeping them engaged, if they furloughed, for example, and when we return back, not very long, hopefully, to keep people safe. I mean, customers, of course, but also workers. And then we've got Brexit. Now, Brexit happened. The vote was in 2016, but it didn't really happen for a number of years, and it now has. And we're starting to see some of the effects, but not fully because of COVID. So if we look at the hospitality and tourism workforce in the UK, then non-UK nationals comprise about a quarter of the workforce. It's much higher in cities, particularly in London. And if we look at that quarter, about half of those are from EU countries. And again, figures for cities like London and Manchester, Oxford, Cambridge, Bournemouth are considerably higher than that. And so we've relied for many, many years on overseas workers to the UK. But because of Brexit and some other reasons as well, like the value of the pound, then a lot of EU workers have gone back to their home country. It's pull and push, really. Push is Brexit, and pull is the fact that a country like Poland, the growth rate is high, unemployment is very low, and usually in the last few years for Poland, lots of people are going back to particularly Eastern European countries. So last year, over 1 million overseas nationals left the UK, and many of those returned to EU countries such as Poland, Romania, Portugal, Spain, Italy, etc. Now, there are big changes in terms of employing EU citizens. One is that we're moving to a so-called Australia points-based immigration system. One of the things, if you want to, attract somebody from an EU country, the minimum salary is £25,600. That's all new, of course, because prior to Brexit, there was no minimum salary for EU workers. We could just, do recruit people from Portugal and Italy and Germany and Sweden and wherever. There was no limit on that, but there very much is now. If we look at demographic changes, the UK is no different than many other countries. The population is aging, so people are living longer. Women are having, and men, well, for women, fewer children on average. And because of healthcare and people are living longer. Now, this is a problem for the hospitality industry because hospitality has relied on younger workers. If you talk to somebody about recruiting people in hospitality, they'll say schools and colleges. But what do they know about recruiting older workers? Often not a lot. So if we look at the hospitality industry in the UK, only about 17% of workers are aged 50 to 64. Of course, we can discuss what do we mean by older workers, but just that category of 50 to 64. So it's pre-retirement for most people. It would be classified as an older worker. For all industries in the UK, it's 27%. So there's a big, big difference between the hospitality, which has got the second lowest level of employment of older workers of any industry in the country. So to me, that's a missed opportunity. So why are there so few employees in the hospitality industry? What are we doing to attract and retain older workers. And I came across an interesting piece in HR magazine from last year, and that is that a reported 2.5 million people aged 50 and over in the UK are interested in working in the hospitality industry. So I think that's something we really need to look at, older workers, because the population is aging, there are going to be more older people and more older workers, and the younger workforce is shrinking. It's getting less and less each year. So, you know, this is an opportunity, but there is a lot of stereotyping, a lot of discrimination even against older workers. So I think we have to reevaluate our you know, our thinking, what are our beliefs about older workers in terms of what sort of work they do, and what are their qualities. Talent management is something that's bounded about an awful lot. Everyone talks about talent. It can mean anything, unfortunately. But the good thing is once the economy recovers, which it will do this year, unemployment will fall again. It's going up to about 6%, but it'll come back down to 4% and perhaps even lower. As Lisa pointed out, a lot of hospitality workers have left the industry. So they've taken up employment with the likes of Amazon, or they've gone to Sainsbury's, or, you know, they've gone to another online retailer, for example. So the trouble is that hospitality firms have focused too much on recruitment and not enough on learning development and talent management. It's much better to keep good workers than to have to recruit new workers. The other thing is it's less expensive, okay? What are we doing about internal recruitment? So if we're promoting, what about promoting from within? Now, I've been linked to the industry for 30 years. And for 30 years, there's been discussion about high labour turnover. And it's discussed and nothing's done about it. So why is that? What are we doing about high labour turnover? Why is it so high? It's not high in all businesses, but overall it is. So I think that hospitality businesses have to become employers of choice. So not as last resort, as first choice. So, you know, why, and Marriott perhaps would be a good example here. And Red Carnation might be another one. So there are employers of choice in the hospitality industry. They can do this by investing in their people, but I think importantly, we need an inclusive approach to talent management. Everyone potentially has talent. It's not the few. And finally, I'm going to focus on flexible working and work-life balance. So like myself, I suppose I'm working from home all the time. I'm in Manchester, by the way. I don't live in Huddersfield. I can see Old Trafford Cricket Ground just across there. That's where I am. And it's been rather nice not having to go into work. I've got used to it. And many people will have got used to working from home and having more flexibility. I don't have kids, but many people do. And then, you know, they're home can be home with the kids or spend more time with the kids. I think post-COVID-19 pandemic, many people will continue to work like this. Perhaps not all the time at home, but certainly a lot of the time at home and going into the office less often. So questions are, what are hospitality businesses doing to encourage flexible working? Well, it's not always possible, I know that. And what are hospitality businesses doing to address issues regarding work-life balance? People are wanting a better work-life balance. Lisa talked about a 4-day working week, you know. So let's look at different possibilities. and how somebody can have a better work-life balance, because it means they're more committed and more loyal to the organisation. So my conclusion is the last year has been dreadful, it's been awful for hospitality businesses and hospitality workforce. Hopefully now there's light at the end of the tunnel and businesses will start reopening, and there's going to be a clamour for workers. That's certainly the case. The other good thing is that a lot of people have saved money. They're not travelling, they're not going out, they're not going on expensive foreign holidays. So they've got a lot of money in their bank accounts to spend on hospitality products and services. I think that coastal areas of the UK will be first to recover, and hotels and guest houses and restaurants and what have you in coastal areas of the UK will be the first to recover, followed by more rural inland areas like Dartmoor, for example, Lake District, and it'll be more difficult for the cities to recover, particularly London, Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, all rely heavily on international visitors. We're not going to get any. Forget about it. They're not going to come. They can't. At the moment, that may be relaxation. Also in terms of outbound visitors, unlikely to happen. So the cities in particular, you know, got to think about growth there. Hospitality firms need to attract and retain people, perhaps attract certainly, but a bit more emphasis perhaps on retention and learning and talent management. And we need to give people good jobs. If we give them good jobs, that will reduce turnover, increase commitment, and enhance loyalty. So those are the things I wanted to cover. I've got to stop sharing, but I'm still sharing. Stop sharing. Ah, there you are. Great. So I'll hand you over now to Lisa. Yeah, you're next, aren't you, Lisa?
Oh, you're on mute, Lisa.
Yeah. Lisa, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Oh, there we are. Yeah, I knew you were going to do
That's
that.
why I need one of those.
I had to move really fast before he brought the card out. I knew it was coming.
Red card. Yeah.
Okay, so back to my original presentation. So handing back from what Andy's just had to say is, as I said before, we've got to look at how staff and how you stand out from the crowd. You're going to have to retain the staff you've already had and do things slightly different going forward. And I think that's been key across the whole speech today. One thing that we've done to help with the reopening is we've put together a lot of businesses that I've worked with over the last year and worked really, really well with. And we've put a helping hand for hospitality on our webpage. And we've got cards going out to all our clients from 2020 and 2019, just offering some discount codes. And these are just some of the clients that have either gifted their time. Paul has kindly gifted his time on a coaching session. We've got Try Booking, who are a fantastic company that can do online events. Even they also do takeaway meal booking pages, and it's a fantastic little company to look into. There's a great deal on there from a guy called Phil Collins from SEO Enterprise, who's massively discounted his SEO package. It is limited, so when this goes live, it's first come, first served on that one because it's hugely discounted. We've got this gin company that have got a perfect recruitment offer. It's a little independent that's based in Liverpool. Liz Henson, who I've used myself, Liz did all our photographs, and I know she's worked very, very closely with Paul as well in the past, doing headshots, but she's quite happy to do if you've done some refurbishment of hotel rooms, or you want to take photographs of your meals, dishes going out. I mean, those are going to be key things. People are going to be looking for who's standing out and who's different. Property World for printing of menus. Again, they've got a few offers and deals on there, and the great Karen Thames at the Business Network. There are a few hoteliers in the Northwest Business Network, but it gives you a fantastic opportunity, especially while they're online, to widen your audience and speak to other like-minded business people. And she is fantastic at linking people to other people that may be able to help you grow your business, or obviously meetings, etc. She's just a font of all knowledge. I'll just move these guys up there, and then we've got, again, Simply Solve Telecoms. We use them ourselves, and again, they've put some special offers together. They do all our telecoms. So these are going to be going live in the next week. A link will go to you directly to your email, so you can log on to our webpage and see what these offers are. There's a fantastic little offer from a superb little Think Prosecco company, and I've got to say I love it myself because I drink it every Friday. Fizzy Friday is Think Prosecco evening, and it's a low calorie Prosecco, and it's a new into the industry, and they're looking to break into hotels, bars and restaurants, and again they've got some special offers. She's winning awards all over the place, and again it's a good one to get in at grassroots level. So I hope some of this will help people, and again, ProJenny, we use them again. There is another HR company that's gifted an hour of their time as well, and they'll also look through all your contracts of employment. But I'm wanting to bring as many discounts, many offers of time to people in the hospitality industry, just to help you have a helping hand and get you started and get you going again, because I know from experience it's been one tough year for all of you. So I hope we can be of some assistance somewhere along the line. I will hand you back to Paul. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Andy, that was superb. So many great learnings for everybody in there, not just for the hospitality industry, but for the wider business sector as well. Lisa, some great offers as well in there. I know you're so intent on helping the hospitality industry as much as you possibly can to get back on the feet. And there's lots of great companies in there who are willing to help as well. So have a look at that page as soon as it goes live. It's absolutely superb. We haven't had any questions in. If anybody's got any questions right now, if you want to fire them in very quickly just before we finish, we've just put a link into the chat box. There's a feedback form, a link to a feedback form in there. So whoever's on this call, if you could click on that link and complete the feedback form. Feedback's the breakfast of champions, and we're always looking to improve what we do. So it'd be great to get some feedback from everybody. It just leaves me to say thank you once again to Andy for giving his time up. It's been absolutely superb. Thank you so much for having us on board and for coming on board and helping us out, Andy. And to Lisa for giving her time so freely to help the whole of the hospitality industry here in the UK. I'm sure everybody appreciates it. So thank you to everybody for your time. Thank you in advance for completing the feedback form. Have a brilliant, brilliant week from all of us here, and we look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.